The NBA season is on track to resume in late July, but that doesn't mean every player will be headed to the campus in Orlando, Florida. With the obvious threat, some players may be hesitant about leaving their family and friends behind to take the court once again. The NBA has created a detailed health and safety document, but it is impossible to completely eliminate the presence of the noble pandemic. And that's without mentioning additional concerns, including the continuing fight against racial injustice and the risk of an injury after an unusual break. I'm personally not surprised that some players have opted not to come back to Orlando, especially if their teams have little to gain. So with that being said, here is a list of 10 NBA players who will not be coming down to Orlando to continue the NBA season. Starting it off, we have Trevor Ariza from the Portland Trailblazers, who is currently involved in a custody case over his son, and he is committing to a 1-month visitation window with his child rather than rejoining the Portland Trailblazers. He was averaging 11 points and 5 rebounds per game with Portland prior to the suspension of play. Despite being in a luxury tax, the Blazers will be able to replace Ariza with a substitute player. They are currently 3.5 games behind the Grizzlies for the final playoff spot in the Western Conference. The second player is Davis Bertans from the Washington Wizards. Bertans simply has too much on the line to play this summer. The 27-year-old is set to become one of the most highly coveted unrestricted free agents on the market, so he will sit out to make sure he doesn't get injured or sick. He has suffered 2 previous ACL injuries, and Washington's playoff chances are close to 0. In his first season with the Wizards, Bertans averaged a career-high 15.4 points while shooting 42.4% from three-point range on nearly 9 attempts per game. Washington has reportedly been supportive of Bertans' decisions and hopes to re-sign him in the offseason. Next up, we have Avery Bradley from the Los Angeles Lakers. This is a significant loss for Los Angeles, but Bradley is understandably worried about his family and will not play the rest of the season. Bradley's son Liam has a history of struggling to recover from respiratory illnesses. Bradley is quoted as saying, "As committed to my Lakers teammates and the organization as I am, I ultimately play basketball for my family. And so at a time like this, I can't imagine making any decision that might put my family's health and well-being at even the slightest risk." Bradley, a prominent voice in pushing the league offices to address player concerns about racial injustice and inequality, has also pledged to use his time to focus on the formation of projects to help strengthen his communities. Now, we know that the Lakers have already brought in Dion Waiters and J.R. Smith to try and fill Bradley's missing slot, and I did make a video on my thoughts of J.R. Smith's signing, so if you want to check that out, I will leave a link in the description. But we can definitely see that the Lakers are supportive of Bradley's decision. Next up, we have Willie CauleyStein from the Dallas Mavericks. The former Kentucky star will not play for Dallas when the season resumes. CauleyStein and his partner are expecting a baby in July, and his absence has opened up a roster spot for free agent guard Trey Burke, who has reportedly agreed to a deal with the Mavericks. So they too have already tried to fill up a slot. Next up, we have Wilson Chandler from the Brooklyn Nets. Chandler was quoted saying that the health and well-being of my family has to come first. He was used mostly off the bench after serving a 25-game drug suspension, but he did start Brooklyn's last 3 games before the season shut down. The Nets already have someone lined up to fill his roster spot. They will re-sign Justin Anderson, who played in 3 games for the team this season after signing a 10-day contract in January. Next up, we have DeMarcus Cousins, who is a free agent. While he hasn't officially been a member of the Lakers since they waived him in February, Cousins has been using the team facility for rehabilitation after tearing his ACL in August. There are now conflicting reports as to whether he is considering signing with the team prior to the restart. It is reported that Cousins would pass on the chance to play in Orlando and instead prepare for the 2021 season, but his agent also said that he hasn't ruled out signing and playing with the team. His decision could ultimately come down to how comfortable he feels jumping into the NBA action following such a long layoff. Next up, we have Thabo Sefolosha from the Houston Rockets. Sefolosha is opting out of the restart, but his decision shouldn't greatly impact Houston's title chances. The 36-year-old averaged only 2.2 points in 10 minutes per game this season. The Rockets are planning to sign Luka Doncic, who previously played with them in the 2017-2018 NBA season. Next up, we have DeAndre Jordan from the Brooklyn Nets. Jordan announced on Twitter that he will sit out after being tested positive for COVID-19. Jordan made his announcement shortly after Spencer Dinwiddie, his teammate as well, announced that he had also tested positive. Dinwiddie is under quarantine and unsure whether he will rejoin his teammates in Florida for the restart, but DeAndre Jordan has been ruled out. Brooklyn added Jordan this season as a backup center to Jarrett Allen. He averaged 8.3 points, 10 rebounds, and a block in 22 minutes per game. The 9th player we have is Kevin Durant, who says he won't play with the Nets when the season resumes in Orlando. Durant said he's physically not ready to return to competition after tearing his Achilles almost a year ago. He's quoted as saying, "My season is over, I don't plan on playing at all. We decided last summer when it first happened that I was just going to wait until the following season. I had no plans of playing at all this season." He also said, "It's just best for me to wait. I don't think I'm ready to play the type of intensity right now in the next month. It gives me more time to get ready for the next season and the rest of my career." Durant tore his Achilles tendon on June 11, 2019 while playing with the Golden State Warriors during the NBA Finals. He then signed a 4-year, $164 million contract later in the summer with Brooklyn, but like I said, planned to sit out the entire 2019-2020 season to rehab his injury. While the NBA has been suspended since March 11 due to the virus, speculation mounted that Durant could return this summer since the season's end was pushed back. Durant, who's currently doing rehab in Los Angeles, isn't even sure if he'll join the Nets in Orlando. And the final player we have is Kyrie Irving, also from the Brooklyn Nets. Leading a call that featured over 80 NBA players, Kyrie was one of the many who spoke up about not supporting the idea of returning to the court this season due to social injustices and systematic racism issues. He's quoted as saying, "I don't support going into Orlando. I'm not with the systematic racism and the bullshit. Something smells a little bit fishy." Irving, who suffered a season-ending injury in March, also noted that he was willing to give up everything for social reform. With that being said, Kyrie is definitely ruled out for Orlando as well as Kevin Durant, so it makes sense that if both of them aren't coming, the Nets don't have a chance to win the title anyways. And that is it for this list, guys. That was 10 NBA players that will not be coming to Orlando to resume the NBA season. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you guys smash a like if you haven't already. And also subscribe to the channel to catch daily content. We are releasing daily videos, so you definitely don't want to miss out. And let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Let me know who you think is going to win the title and if you think the NBA season is going to return. I'll catch you guys on tomorrow's video. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a great day.